I just said start recording. I didn't hear anything, but it's there.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's working. Yeah. Okay. We're back to 76. Last week we took a break from it because a lot of people weren't around. So I wanted to know if when we read 76, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
So I want to hand out these sheets so you can see the way the Mizmor is broken out in a very clear thing. By the way, this is one of the earliest sheets ever made. The reason I'm saying it is because it's all without nikudot and it's colored. I never did that before.
No arrows.
But when I look at it, I really think I should have kept to my old approach. And the reason I did it this way is to show how sharp and clear the structure is indicating about the Mizmor. That said, yeah, exactly. But I knew because the 75th Mizmor, if you remember, is 80 words when you eliminate superscription and whatever it is. I showed it to you, and I said we're at the middle of Tehillim. I'm reminding you, 75 and 76. So there were two 80-word Mizmorim, but you wouldn't know it's 80 words because this Mizmor consists of 90 words. And if there would be a skeptic, the skeptic would say, you just manipulate everything to come out the way you like it, right? At that time, I was very intimidated. When I say at that time, way back when, very long, many years ago, I was very intimidated. And when you see it broken out like this, interesting things happen. And that is as follows. Let's read the Mizmor real fast. Real fast. Let's read it. Everybody have it in front of them? Good. And Judah is God is known. His name is great in Israel. In Salem. I love Salem, Oregon. Right? Right. Yeah, right. Well, it was called Shalem, the place, yeah. In Shalem also is set his tabernacle. Well, that's bad. That's bad. There's a bad translation. Vahiva Shalem Sukkah, and his Sukkah, right, was in Shalem. Onato B'Tzion, and his dwelling place was in Zion. So this is the one time besides the Torah, because Melchizedek is the king of Shalem. So Vihi you see Shalem, and of course it means Jerusalem, because you're talking about Yehudah and Yisrael, the south and the north. And then in verse 3, you're talking about the parallels, right? The Sukkah and the Ma'on, and this is an ABBA structure. In Shalem, that means Jerusalem was Sukkah, and Sion it was his Ma'on. Shema Shibar Rishbe Kashet, there he broke the fiery shafts of the bow. Magen Herev Milchama, shield, sword, and battle. Selah. And what atah, adir mehared taraf, you are naor, glorious art thou. This translation is going to be replaced. And excellent, coming down from the mountains of prey. It doesn't say anything about coming down. If you look at the Hebrew, what atah, adir, you are more adir, right, than the mountains of prey. That's what that really means. Ish tolulu abireh leb, the abireh, the mighty of heart. Ish tolulu, they became confused, right? Namu shinatam. Without looking at the English, what does namu shinatam mean? They slept their sleep, right? How do you know namu? Everybody over here knows that word.
Nam.
A nam. I got a nam, right? Namu. It's Arabic. Arabic. When they're saying it, you're not even saying. You're saying the Arabic word, right? right? Namushenatam, v'lo matzu kol anshe ha'chayil lehem, and all the men of valor, the mighty men, couldn't find, I'm translating literally now, they couldn't find their hands. Miga'aratcha, from your blast, Elohi Yaakov, God of Yaakov, Nirdam, they are in a stupor. Verechev u'milchama, and rider, I'm sorry, Verechev vesus, and rider and and horse. Ta norata, you are nora, you are awesome. Umi amod lefenecha, who could stand before you? Me'as apecha, from. Now you see, who can stand in your sight when once thou art angry, because me'az, from when you, right, are angry. Mishamayim hishmavta din, from the heavens you declared the deen, and eretz yada avishakata, and the land was in awe, right, or fear, vishakata, and it was quiet and still. V'kulam mishpat Elohim, when Hashem rose in judgment, Loshea kol anvei eretz, when he to save the humble of the earth, Selah. Ki hamat adam todeka, the wrath of men shall give thanks to you. They say praise you. The sherit hamot tagor, and the residual of wrath you gird yourself with. Now, all commentators don't know what all of these things that we just now set up until now. And when the commentators get to this, they completely lose their mind because they can't make heads or tails. They don't even know, even when it's translated, doesn't mean anything. This will all become very clear to you why this is a really, really a paradigm shift in this.
Oh, it says it very clearly.
Commentary.
Meaning of Hebrew uncertain.
Very good.
That's for the whole this morning.
At least they admit they don't know. They don't know. Make vows and pay them to God, the Yud-Kevavke, your God. All those who are around him will bring gifts to the feared one. Yibsor ruach negidim, he will curb the spirit of the leaders, princes. Norah l'malch haaretz, awesome to the king. That's the Mizmor. Now, again, I repeat, most of the people who read this Mizmor do not know what's going on.
Yeah, me too.
So, right, so our objective will be to make to make this clear, to bring clarity to what's going on. That said, take a look. For those of you who are online, you're going to have to visualize what I'm saying now. There's a 5-word superscription. Quiet. You know what, Mizmor Asaf Shir. So we're in the Asaf Mizmorim. Remember that? This is the 76. We started 73, 74, 75, and 76. We're in the 4th of the 11, right? Of the 11 Mizmorim in, right, 73, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the 4th of the 11 Mizmorim in book 2. The 12th one was in book 3. The 12th, the first one was in book 2. The 50th Mizmor.
Okay. So,
Noda, you can see that the first section, which ends, the Selahs are very clearly delineating how this Mizmor works, right? You start with the word Noda as the first word, and I'll read it fast. Noda b'yidei Elohim, verses, in other words, verse 1 is the superscription. There are 13 verses over here.
yeah, clear.
Right? Important to know that it's 13 verses. Verse 2 is where the Mizmor proper begins after the superscription. The red, Nodabi, which is verses 2, 3, and 4, are Nodabi Elohim Yisrael Gadol Shemo, Vehi B'Shalem Sukkah, Monato B'Tzon Shema Shibadish V'Keshet Magen, V'Cherev V'Milchama, shield, sword, and war. The way it says that is a little strange. Shield, sword, and war.
Bow before that, no?
Okay, yeah, bow, shield, sword, and war, right? It's like a what do you call it? Comma, right? Without it's just listing that, and it's strange that how a little strange how it says it. In the English, it says, there he broke the fiery shafts of the bow. No, that's what was wrong with what you said. No, Shema Shibara Shveh Keshet. There he broke the shafts of the bow. Then it says the shield and the sword and the battle.
So he broke those three also?
The fiery, no, the words is when it says that is Shveh Keshet is an expression. He broke the fiery bows, or
Okay.
the shafts, right,
And then
of
where's,
the bow.
and then where's the verb for the rest?
There isn't. That's what I'm saying. The rest are like this: the shield, the sword, the battle.
So does that verb carry forward?
Even if it does, it's a strange way to say it. He broke the fiery shafts and what? And he broke the sword. He broke the sword and he broke the right.
Yeah, okay.
But the way it's listed is a little off. That said, the Selah, of course, stands there and tells you stop, right? It's telling you about the break.
Okay.
Well, since it's in front of you, just count how many words there are in the section, and you see that there are 18 words. Good, Sammy?
Yes.
Mars, good? Are we all good?
Yeah.
Okay, next. Naorata. You, when it Naor, it says glorious, right?
Mhm,
Right? That's how they translate it. I don't know if you guys have other what do you have for Naor? You're not gonna have glorious.
Dazzling.
What do you have?
You were,
Dazzling,
you
okay.
were resplendent.
Resplendent is probably its closest,
From the word
right? Resplendent, right? I think it's better. Naorata. Adir miharire tarif.
Glorious on the mountains of prey.
Miharire tarif. More glorious than the, right? They don't know what to do with it, but it's
on.
it's not on. It's miharire tarif.
In other words,
They
your glory extended from the.
But it-
Harare.
right. But that's because
Mightier than.
they don't have a good sense of it, right? So adim hanatar ishtolu abidei lib,
The stout-hearted were despoiled.
right? Now ishtolu from the word despoiled, it's good. Shalal, like they're saying, right? Right? Namu shinatam v'lo masu kol anshe hayil yedehim.
They were in a stupor. The bravest of men could not lift a hand.
Nobody said they slept their sleep,
No.
Mhm.
right? What happened to Namu shinatam? Say it again.
They were in a stupor.
And
What's that?
The bravest of men could not lift a hand.
Here's the farmer plundered.
v'lo masu
Roll into a translation.
kol anshe hayil yedehim. Where does it say can't lift the hand? It says they couldn't find the hands.
Yeah. Right.
The literal translation, Morris, you understand that the literal translation is they slept their sleep
Roll
and they
into a
couldn't find their
translation.
hands. You know, you ever hear of a idiomatic expression?
Yeah.
He couldn't find his hands. That means like they didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. So it's true. They're in a stupor. It's true, but translate it better than that. You understand?
Yeah.
They don't do that.
It's lulled into a trance. That's a little bit better.
Trance
is the sleep state.
Yeah, that's better. It's better. Migaratcha Elohei Yaakov, from your blast.
At your blast, O God of
Right.
Jacob.
Nidam, they were in a
Left again.
Stunned.
stunned, right?
Horse and
Vidit.
chariot.
Horse and chariot.
Just another.
See again, now I highlighted it for you because I told you, look, the other one ends with the head of a milchama.
Right.
This one says they were son, Vereche Vesus, and horse,
And chariot.
rider, no,
Right.
Horse and chariot lay stunned.
horse and chariot, okay. Now,
It's
I had
rider.
83 words, as you could see, but I noticed that there's 22 words up to Atanura Ata. When I saw Atanura Ata, I said, Atanura Ata can be read backwards and forward.
Mhm.
You are, now how do they translate Nora? They don't say resplendent again, do they?
Oh, you. You are awesome.
Awesome.
Like in other words, ata. You. Oh, you.
You.
Oh,
You're
you,
not.
oh, you're good.
You're good.
You're good. So,
Analysis.
I know, yes.
right.
There's no names around the table.
So, Atanurata, You are awesome. You are. I realized that statement goes above the text. And that the word Norah is the letters of, there are 4 sections, right? Because you have your sheets in front of you, right? There's going to be a Selah at the end of verse 10. And then the Mizmor will end at verse 13. So,
Where's that?
It's
Ata Norah Ata,
No, I don't have that. What do you mean?
What-
That's not-
eight.
Huh?
verse 8.
Eight.
First 3 words of
Oh,
it.
8. Oh, okay. I'm looking at before. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. So in Ata Norah Ata, I look at the word Norah and I see that the word Norah is nothing more than the word Naor spelt in a different order. It's Nun Vav Resh Aleph as opposed to Nun Aleph Vav Resh, right? So clearly that the word resplendent and the word, let's call it awesome, right? Are playing, it's playing, and this Ata Norah Ata stands at the center. What else gave me the right to say that? Ata and Ata, right? Right? Not like you're good. No, Ata Norah Ata,
They said that.
right? Right,
You're
right. You're
awesome.
The Nero's.
and I
That's
re-
crazy.
and
I'm saying
and-
it's OU exclamation point. You are awesome.
right.
Straight out of the movie.
Right. So, and I also knew by this time that it was the 8th verse, as you could see, which is the 8th of 13 verses. Now, once I saw that it was 13
The
verses,
counting superscript.
and I saw that it was the 8th, and I saw that it was the backwards and forwards, I realized that this text, that statement, is above the rest of the text. Like it stands like the statements, and then in the middle, and then statement and statement.
A keystone when you have
an arch. That's right, a keystone. That's right. That's what it is. So you read it backwards, you read it forwards. It stands in as a. I like that as a keystone. But I didn't have to work hard to prove that. Why? Watch what happens. If you say that it's the keystone, you start with a tanurata as a statement in the independent statement, because it goes "Umi ya'amod lefanecha," and who could stand before you? Me'az apecha mishamayim hishmata din, from the heavens you made made known the law. Eretz Yara'ah v'shakata, the land was in awe, in fear, and quiet. B'kum l'mashpat Elohim, l'hoshia kol anveh eretz. Aretz? Anybody?
It is.
Eretz, okay? So now, to save all the humble of the earth, Selah, well, how many words in the section if you make a tanora, a ta, semi, if you make it at the top of the text and you look at from Umiya Amud, verse 8's 4th word to the end? 18. Well, how many words did we have in section 1?
18.
How many in section 2?
Says 20.
20. Well, it's counted for you, right? After the Selah has 22 words. Okay, so then if you say you start from Umi and you go to Anve'iris, maybe we should give Lee one of those.
If you have.
I do. I have plenty. So you see that there are 18 words up to the Selah. But now, of course, what makes it clear as a bell is that when you go to section 4, Ki hamat adam todeka, the anger of man gives praise or thanks to you. Sherit hamot tahgor, the remnant of anger you gird. Nidru v'shamul Adonai Elohem, make vows and pay to Hashem your God. Call sivav all around you. Bilu shalom urah will bring the gifts to the awesome one. Yibsor derach negidim, he will curb the spirit of the princes or the leaders. Norah. Oh, there's that word Norah. The Melchi artists to the kings of earth. Now, Norah, of course, you see I highlighted it
Yeah.
because you have like this. So how many words in section 4, everybody?
21.
22.
Yeah. Oh.
22.
Counting. Okay.
So how many words do you have in section 1?
18.2.
Okay, it's clear that I wasn't guessing. You got that, Morris? It's clear. I said, oh, I gotta highlight this so everybody knows I'm not playing, I'm not being manipulative. This is, Sam, you got that? It's not being manipulative. It's clear that it was an 80-word section. You always, the selas are always the variable, as are the superscription words.
Not just a
That's-
variable, but also you're separating out your 18s and 22s.
Exactly, it's functioning as a stop.
Sometimes you use it as.
That's how you do it.
But sometimes use it, sometimes they don't. Over here, it's clear,
No sense.
it's clear, yeah, the 18 words followed by 22 words, followed by without ata, nora, ata, 18 words, followed by clear 22 words. Two of the sections are certainly clear without any question what's, three of the sections, I'm sorry, are section 1, which is for sure 18 words. Section 2, which is for sure 22 words. Section 3, which is for sure 22 words. So when you look at it the way I have it lined up, it's like this: 1 and 3 are 18, and 2 and 4 are 22.
Right.
18, 22, 40, 18, 22, 40, 80 words that stand. Again, I like Morris, there's the keystone. It stands at the top of everything, backwards and forwards. Ata. This is all about ata, nora, ata. You are awesome. You are amazing in what you did in these things. Furthermore, you get confirmed. Are you already confirmed
Yeah.
that it's pashut, there are 80
Yeah,
words?
it's the structure.
Well, look at the endings, the ending of section 1. Herev milchama, the ending of section 2. V'rechev v'sus. Those words that are slightly right
Right.
off. What are the last two words of section 3? Okay, so of course it's Herev and Milchama, Rechev and Sus, An v'Eretz, Malchei Eretz. It's clear that those are the endings. The Selah does it, the content does it, and therefore Ata Nora Ata clearly stands at the top of this, and it's above. I was so happy with this at the time, many years ago, because they go, 1 second, I'm at the middle of Tehillim. The previous was more than 80 words, when you understand it. When you, again, would say with words that are not counted. You come over here, and for sure, it's 80 words, and it's doing it structurally so that you don't have any doubt that it's putting at the center of Tehillim's in Mizmorim, 80 words and 80 words. Now, I'm making a big deal out of this because it's very important. 2 back-to-back Mizmorim that have 80 words that are the covenantal. So I realize,
You have a Mizmorim have 8?
sure, but not like this. Yeah, back to back, right?
There's other Mizmorim, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I haven't looked in a long time. I have the chart over here, but instead of going to look at it right now, yeah. So I'm trying to remember that. Now, it'll bother me all night, yeah. But
Oh,
you have 80 words and 80 words, and you're right at the middle of Tehillim. So something very important happens here. It didn't leave you, if you look at the structure, with even a slight possibility that this isn't an 80-word structure. It's a lock. And it's 13 verses. And it's the 8th verse, right? And there's even more to say about that, by the way. I think I'm right. How many words in verse 8? The 3 keystone followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 words.
5.
eight words.
It's an 8-word verse, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't any other 8-word verses, but it's 8 words, yes?
But you normally include the superscription when you say it's the eight.
No, taking it out. Taking it out. Who's taking it out?
No, it's including the superscription.
Yeah.
No, the eighth verse has 8 words. That's-
The 8th verse has 8 words.
You say number 8 though, including superscription. Sometimes you take it
Yeah,
out.
yes. I said you always have variables, always. But over here, it's clear. There are 13 verses and it's the 8th of 13 verses, right? So it's very clear that that's what it's doing, right? By the way, notice what I did. I wrote it for you. Do you see where it says it's the 9th of 13th verse? 13. I'm saying it's the 8th of 13 verses.
Yeah.
I'm pointing that out to you to say, not only is the 3 central words in the 8th verse, but it's the 8th of 13, and it's 80 words. So
Right.
it's like, no matter how you cut it, you can't escape it. Now, what I did not know when I first discovered this is the reason that there are 80 words in each of these is because the covenant is elaborated on in the center of all of Tehillim and Mizmorim. The covenant and what it means and how it should be viewed. It's not just,
No, obvious.
nice,
Isn't that
a
obvious?
nice thing.
Isn't that-
No, it's telling you, this is the covenant. Well, what is that? It's very nice that I said it. Okay, I'm telling you words. Who cares? But it is the covenant. Therefore, the structure, as I always tell you, is informing on the content.
Yeah.
It's telling you this is the covenant. What is the covenant? God is great. He did these great things, and thank you very much. No,
Okay.
No,
much more is being said about the nature of the covenant.
Yeah.
And when we read this, we will find out how this is indicating on the nature of the covenant.
your God is protecting you if you will follow it.
No, not that. No, not that. No. That's a nice, simple answer, but that's not what the very essence of the covenant is being spoken about here.
Okay.
2 80-word, therefore covenantal statements that when you look at the 2 of them combined, you've got the essence of what the covenant is between the nation and Israel.
Okay.
Again, the essence of it. And now that we know that, we'll move on from the structure. By the way, isn't it nice? It's great. I know, I left it in the book. No, I left this in the book. I took all my charts and changed them, but this is very nice because it's very clear. It's very easy to read. It's very visually, it's very good.
Only 6 colors. Huh?
I'm sorry?
It's only 6 colors.
It's only, yeah, right. I used to always color the things, coloring the things makes it easy to visualize something. It was so good, right? It's so nice. And then you put the boxes around the words and you go, oh, Herev Milchama, Rechiv and Sus. Oh, and the Eretz. Oh, Malcha Eretz, they're being parallel. They're being, what do you call it? Not parallel. They're being contrasted, right? So now, I think what I'd like to do is read to you real fast, if I can. Let's see. Yeah. Psalm 76 is a hymn praising God for his awesome strength, demonstrated by his protection of his people and defeat of their enemies. The psalm recalls a time when the nation was attacked by powerful invaders who came with overwhelming military superiority. Israel's situation seemed hopeless, but God, portrayed as both divine warrior and judge, made the nation prevail and completely routed the enemy. As we shall see, close attention to the structure and intertextual allusions in the psalm indicate that God's intervention was intimately tied to righteous, shrewd, and God-fearing leadership. Intimately tied.
Good.
In particular, we shall demonstrate that Psalm 76 is loaded with textual allusions to the Elisha narratives in 2 Kings. In fact, some of the psalm's most obscure phrases become understandable, meaning of Hebrew understand, meaning of Hebrew, I got them all figured out. Come on, give me a star. I want a star for that. There's thousands of years there. Oh, I'll tell you what this word means. I'll tell you why it says this. This was written very recently by 50 zillion scholars, meaning of Hebrew uncertain. They don't know that when they say meaning of Hebrew uncertain, that means
I don't know.
we have 2,000 years of 2,500 years of meaning of Hebrew uncertain. Remember that, yeah. I love to do that. It's fun.
We gotta
Right?
see the evidence.
What?
We gotta see the evidence.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not worried. Right. By the way, this is the last. The volume 2 is ending at this point. It was supposed to end much,
Really?
much later,
Oh.
but I don't have enough time for it. We'll do it in another volume. 76 is loaded with textual Elisha narrative 2 Kings. In fact, some of the Psalms' most obscure phrases become understandable only once their roots in the Elisha narratives are recognized. Ultimately, this provides powerful evidence supporting the claim that the prophet Elisha is the spiritual leader of the nation at the time described by the psalm. It is his exploits and experiences that the psalmist recounts. Given the psalmist's widespread practice of utilizing structural center points to communicate key concepts illustrated time and again in this research, it is no surprise to find that Psalm 76, along with 75, treated in the previous chapter, carries a message of central significance for the entire book, all of Tehillim, right? Right? Okay. What is that? Footnote.
What did I say there?
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Meaning,
Brad
meaning,
to read his book. He goes, this guy right.
meaning, we're likely to see a story somewhere in Elisha's situation that has to do with Israel being attacked and
I'm going to show you in detail.
God.
I'm going to show you, not only going to show you in detail, I'm going to show you incontrovertible evidence that I'm right.
Okay.
I want to state that now so that I challenge anybody to tell me I'm wrong, right? Which of course everybody says you're nuts. Okay. By the way, what I wrote will be in the footnote. Psalm 76 is also the central psalm by word count. The center word of Psalms is Bishalem in verse 3.
Whole.
I didn't know that.
It's whole, it's finished.
Who wrote this?
I wrote that.
Hmm.
I got to check that because that means the word Jerusalem
Is the middle, is the key.
is a center word. Wow. That's great.
Is this the only other Tom Shelley has used aside from Melchizedek?
Yes, the Arabs.
Not in Tanakh, no.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Tanakh?
There's
No.
this. I think
It's
so.
called Shelley, somewhere else.
David school.
Oh, in Kings, you mean the
Yeah.
original? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
This is the story.
So this guy's trying to figure everything out, right? So now, listen carefully. Supplementing Psalm 75's emphasis on patient faith in God's commitment to the covenant and the challenge of retrospective awareness of his redemptive acts, Psalm 76 turns squarely to the lessons of the past. At this juncture, at the center of the book of Psalms, and with the Asaph collection more broadly, it makes good sense to find the psalmist reminiscing about a time when God rescued Israel from overwhelming military threats through a righteous prophet, Elisha, who is frequently referred to in the king's narratives simply as the man of God, Ish Elohim. A lot of times says it. Represents an ideal model of leadership for the nation of Israel. He is to be contrasted with the failed priesthood that brought about the spiritual decay that ushered in the destruction of the temple and its environs, the recurring and central theme of the Asaph collection. He also represents a foil to the incompetent monarchy. Crucially, throughout the Elisha narratives, priesthood is totally absent from the scene. It's amazing. You're going to be in Melachim, you're going to read half of Melachim bit, a quarter of all that, not a word, right? So of course, it's totally absent. And the prophet supersedes the king of Israel in every meaningful way. The deeper exploration of the Elisha narratives below will help bring out the fundamental messages of Elisha's leadership and elucidate in more detail how and why Psalm 76 focuses on them. Why, how, and why. First, however, structural analysis, you know it, so we can go forward. And then we can turn to historical reference of Elisha. The second of the four section ending phrases pointed out above, chariot and horse, Rechev and Sus, also constitute the center of the entire psalm by word count,
Forget stuff in the mud.
right?
Yeah.
By word count, if you take all the words, right, because there are 90 words. So if you go to that center, the words Rechev and Sus are at the middle of the psalm. Words of 45 and 46 of 90 words. This pair of words appears in a number of scriptural contexts, often describing the might of some threatening foreign military power vanquished by God. The most immediately obvious example is
Melech Aram.
no. What's the most?
In the puddle.
Eliyahu. Well, Eliyahu goes up.
Yeah.
Say it. What are they all talking about?
Mitzrayim. Going down to Mitzrayim.
Yeah, going out of Mitzrayim.
But you also have,
Sus v'rochbora, ma'bayam. Come on.
you also have the end of Eliyahu with the Rechev too. It's a very.
No, that's stuff in.
I wrote. I just said the most immediately obvious example of is this in the whole world. Go to a little kid. What is it? You see, everybody knows that, right? Right? The most obvious is that one in the drowned in the sea of reeds, Exodus 15:1. All told, the immediate juxtaposition of Sus with the word from the root Rechev occurs a number of times in various biblical books. It appears 3 times in Exodus, in Shiratam, twice in Deuteronomy, once in Joshua, once in Samuel, twice in Isaiah, 5 times in Jeremiah, 6 times in Ezekiel. It occurs no more than once in any book of the writings, including Psalms, or in any of the minor prophets. But nowhere,
Going to be.
but nowhere,
Okay.
nowhere, back out of the footnote, nowhere as densely as in the book of Kings, where it is found 11 times. The vast majority of these occur in passages related to Elisha. There are 8 instances within the span of 6 chapters of the Elisha narrative, beginning with the healing of the Aramean warlord Naaman. You all know that story.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah,
Do you?
We do.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Okay, Naaman
To the water.
is the story where he's the general and he has Sarat and he comes to. I knew you knew it. I was waiting somewhere while I was. Yeah. You know, yeah. In 2 instances, the phrase refers to the forces of Aram in the story of the war between Ben-Hadad and Ahab, recounted in 1 Kings 20. This density alone is an initial hint that the Psalm's wording may be alluding to the Elisha's narratives. If we confine our search only to appearances of the phrase V'rechev v'sus, or its reverse, V'sus v'rechev, including the initial conjunctive vav, a feature which is itself anomalous as its grammatical purpose is not obvious, right? We said V'rechev v'sus,
What about?
right? In Psalm 76, 1 second, I said, if we take only the appearances of just these words, right? Right?
No description around.
Right. So 76:7, most of the occurrences are set in context related to war with Aram
Okay.
in the time of Eliyahu and Elisha. Apart from Joshua 11:4, there is only 1 Kings 20, verse 1, introducing the war of Aram with Israel in Eliyahu's days, and 2 Kings 6:15 regarding the battalion sent by Aram
Right.
to surround Elisha at Dotan. You all remember that story when they're coming to get him. Moreover, a key image associated with Elisha is that of the fiery chariots and horses, right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but with him too. You forgot where. When they come to get him, they look at the mountains and the kid's with him. He says, what are we going to do? He says, look over there. And he sees that, right? Fiery chariots, right?
Oh, Ash to be both work. but
Right.
Ash.
That's right. So in fact, a fiery chariot. So in fact, the light of the central position, in light of the central position of the words chariot and horse, which remember the two central words of the whole Mizmor combined. In Psalm 76, it is particularly suggestive to note that this imagery is integral in the literary structure of the narratives regarding Elisha. The phrase, Father, Father, Israel's chariots and horsemen, Abi, Abi,
Yeah.
Rechev Yisei, Eluf Arashav. Those words come out, right? Introduces and concludes Elisha's prophetic career. At the very end, that's going to happen at the very, very end. You see those words where that's the one where I quoted that story
Yeah.
when I made the tape that I sent to
Before that.
Netanyahu,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Right?
The pasuk before that says Rechev Esh Ususei Esh.
Yeah.
So you have them both there.
You have everything.
Yeah.
But you should say, listen carefully. Fiery chariots. Fiery. Look at them as
We don't have five charts here.
but look at the words. What's the key word? What are the
Oh,
three?
just have the sus.
No, what are the three words? What does this say?
Tanora.
Atanora ata.
Oh.
And naor. Or. Nora.
Yeah,
It's all remember the word resplendent?
yes.
We said, oh, that's a good word. Resplendent. You're resplendent. Fiery chariots fit great with the idea of God being resplendent, glowing, amazing, light shining from him. You understand? So the words, whether it's Norah or Naor, right? It fits in with the imagery of the story, which has so much of that idea of fiery chariots. And with Eliyahu, he goes up in the right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're awesome. Okay. The foiling of the Aramean troops. Today, by the way, I'm reading because it's faster, and I want to cover ground. So if the reading throws you off, just ask me a question. This narrative opens with the king of Aram, chapter 6, verses 8 to 23. That you could open your Tanakh to. Planning a surprise military assault against Israel. Of course, Melachim Bet, yeah. By the way, everybody says that all these stories, right? The commentators, when I said this is all about Aram, everybody says that the main story over here is referring to a later story, and they don't recognize it as the Aram stories. They recognize it as the later story with Hiskiah when he's surrounded, and that's not the Aram army, but the Ashur, right? 250,000 guys who they get up and they're dead.
The guys go the next day to find the whole camp empty.
Right. So this narrative opens with the king of Aram planning a surprise military assault against Israel.
Which pasuk?
Verse 8. 2 Kings, chapter 6, verse 8. If you want to know the opening words, I'll read it to you. Chapter 6, verse 8.
We got it.
Right? It says like this. Right? וישע איש האלוהים אל מלך ישראל לאמור, ישמר מעבור המקום הזה, כי שם ארם נחיתים. Does everybody know what that means? No? Okay. I'll read it. King of Aram was fighting against Israel, and he
Took counsel with his officers and said, I will encamp in such and such a place. But the man of God sent word to the king of Israel, take care not to pass through that place, for the Arameans are encamped there.
in other words, it's an ambush site.
Yeah, they won't.
And I'm going to go there where I can easily ambush the Israelis. So who sends word to? Who does he send word to? Look at the words in verse 9. Who does he send it to? No, I'm going to ask Lee. Who does he send? Who?
Melchim set out to the,
No,
Yeah, who is that?
The two.
One second. Who is Melech Israel?
right now, I don't know.
Exactly. And guess what? He never has a name. In all the stories, he's no name. The king of Israel. What does it mean when you never say his name?
Not important.
Is inconsequential.
Not important.
Totally inconsequential. It's just King of Israel.
King Mordecai?
We do,
they-
but it goes out of its way not to say the name. Go before and go in, you'll see it says the name always. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, he's a-
If you read Kings well, you see always have a name, right?
Yeah.
Over here, who is this guy? He's the King of Israel.
Interesting.
He's the no-name King of Israel, the inconsequential, just the king.
Oh, but also, taking that, putting it aside for a second, it's deliberately not mentioning a king, the name of a king. It's also not mentioning the name of a prophet.
Yeah, Eish Elohim, it says.
It says Ish Elohim. So
Yeah, but-
essentially, it may be presenting it as if this is a model for you to understand.
Except for one thing, Ish Elohim is called Elisha 50 times here, right? Before and after,
Good, but
Right.
it's not here
yes.
specifically in conjunction with Melech Israel to say, maybe this is a model for you to understand that when it comes between the Ish Elohim and the Melech
nice one.
Israel,
Go with the-
I'll give you,
Ish
I'll
Elohim.
give you that, it's a nice point.
Read what's called though. It blows you out of the water.
וישלח מלך ישראל אל המקום אשר אמר לו איש האלוהים. וישלח מלך ישראל אל המקום אשר אמר לו איש האלוהים.
Yeah, but it does.
Yeah. וישלח מלך ישראל אל המקום אשר אמר לו איש האלוהים.
So the king of Israel sent word to the place
והזהירו.
of which the man of God had told him time and again.
והזהירו ונשמר שם לא אחת ולא שתיים.
Time and again, he alerted such a place and took precautions there.
And you know what happened? וישער לב מלך ארם על הדבר הזה.
Gave up.
Greatly agitated about this matter, the king of Aram summoned his officers and said to them,
ויקרא לב ויאמר עליהם, הלא תגידו לי מי משלנו אל מלך ישראל?
Tell
We
me,
have a spy.
who was on the side of the king of Israel?
We defected.
ויאמר אחד מעבדיו,
Said one of the officers,
לא אדוני המלך.
no
Yeah.
one, my lord king.
No, כי אלישע הנביא אשר בישראל יגיד למלך ישראל את הדברים אשר תדבר בחדר משכבך.
Elisha, that prophet in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom.
He knows what you're speaking about in your bedroom.
He's got it.
He's got microphones.
Got the power.
He's got
Buzz.
Yeah. He knows what you're talking about in your bedroom. I love that expression because
Really.
this guy,
Most intimate thoughts, he knows.
yeah, he knows everything. ויאמר לכו ראו איכו הוא,
I'll find him.
Go find out where he is
וישלח וכחר ויגאל לו לאמור הנה בדותן.
so that I can have him seized. It was reported to him that Elisha was in Dotan.
Now, when you hear that word dotan, what is the reminder of? Sam, he knows right away. Yosef, because he goes to find his brothers and he can't find them and he finds
a guy,
The guy.
no name.
exactly.
It's a item, yeah.
Right? The connective tissue in the story. You know, yeah, they're over there. Remember that they go like, he goes like this, they're over there.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
That's where you can find them, right? Well, watch what happens in this story. If you want to know about intertextuality, watch what happens, Ron. They וישלח שם הסוסים ורכב.
He sent horses and chariots.
You see those words? He goes and he sends susim v'rechev.
Wow.
So when you think about, you have your sheets in front of you and you see these things, v'rechev, v'sus, right? V'herev, milchama, it's going. So it's like saying, you know what it's like saying when it's doing that to me, and it should be to you too, because that's what it is. It's like going, you know, the story, the sus, the rechev, the sus. You put it at the end, you make a thing, you highlight it. You know, our story. It's like a blatant intertextual reference to these stories, right? Because the way it said, susim v'rechev, even the word susim v'rechev is written in a bit of a way to catch your attention. Horses and
A chariot.
how do they translate it?
Chariots.
Sent horses and chariots.
Right.
It's not chariot.
And a strong force.
The Hayel Kaved.
And a strong force.
That's a big army. Vayabu Laila, Vayakifu Alair.
They arrived at night and encircled the town.
Vayashkem Mesharet Isha Elohim. I love this story,
When the attendant of the man of God rose early and went
right?
outside,
This is his assistant. This is Elisha. Lakum Vayetzev Hine Hal Sobib Ta'ir.
he saw a force with horses and chariots surrounding the tent.
No. You got to see it again.
Yeah, so.
Vesus Verechem. Right there, it is again. Over there, Susim Verechem. Vesus Verechem. Morris, you're getting it right. You're getting how the Mizmor is making the references to this story, and this is enough. Sammy, this is enough for you to see where I didn't need to go through all the quotes. You know why? Because when you read it within its context, even after you read it just 2 times, you go like this. Oh, this is now Mizmor. Because of the way it's written and the way it's stuck. You see, the way you express something in a text catches your attention. So it says, "Veishach Shemesh Susim Verechem."
Right before,
So
right,
he,
right before you start talking about Susim Verechem, that he asked him a question about, it says, Yagid Lamelch Yisrael Tedaberim Asher Tedabed, where? Becheder Mishkeva,
in your bedroom, yeah.
right, that's right before you get into all these references to Susim Verechem.
And that's correct. That's
What else
correct.
are you doing in your bedroom?
Right.
Well,
Well,
Namu Shenatam.
oh, well, no, it doesn't mean that. No, good try.
The word right before Rechev and Sus is
Yeah.
Dam, he's sleeping, the guy's sleeping, he's all
Yeah.
sleeping in his
Yeah.
bedroom.
But that's not what it is,
No.
but it's very nice. You have good imagination. I like it.
We just
like
said,
that.
why would he use that phrase to say, oh, he knows?
Because
sleeping in
it's
your bedroom?
namu shinatam velo matzu kol and shehayel. They slept their sleep, and all the men of valor. It's a plural. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Right. V'nei hayel sobeh, but I like your imagination. It's excellent. V'nei hayel sobeh v'teir v'sus v'rechev.
Mhm.
An army, a sus v'rechev. There it is again. Veyomer na'aro elav. Aha, Adoni. Echanaseh. You got to read it that way. You know, he's not going to let this. He's going like this. What are we going to do? You know? Vayomer al tira. Tirabim asher itanum asher otam. This is what he answers him. What do you, well, don't be afraid. We have more guys on our side than their side. There are 2 guys standing in the middle of a field. And on the side, there's a battalion of killers, right? He goes, what are you worried about? We got more guys. So he goes, V'hit palel Elisha. Elisha prays, V'yomar Adonai, Hashem, Pekach na et enav. Open his eyes. Whose eyes? The kid. Open it, right? V'yireh, and he looks, V'yifkach Adonai et eneh hanar, and he opens the eyes of the young man. Vayad, and he sees V'nei har maleh. You say it now.
Susim Verechem.
There we go again.
I st-
Everybody getting the context of how Sus Verechev and now Mizmor is a very key statement because it's written with those words Verechev Sus.
Could it be that his eyes are already open, but he's saying, wake up?
Oh my God, he don't give up. He don't give up.
His eyes are closed, he says, open your eyes, see
Okay.
what's in front of you?
No, it's just the expression. It's this expression.
Wake up,
No, the expression is
open your eyes.
Yeah.
Let him see the light.
let him see the light. Right? V'yad v'nei har maleh susim verechev. There's that word again. It's full of horses and chariots of fire. Now
Let's
you're,
make a movie about it.
a chariots of fire. Sivi bought Elisha, all surrounding Elisha. Now, again, remember Ata Norah Ata?
Mhm.
You remember the resplendent? Remember the word Norah and the word Naor and the word Norah again, L'malcheres, right?
Yeah.
Of course, that word's with the play on Aleph, Vav, Resh, and Or, and light. Of course, Li are being used because these stories, it's fiery chariots, fiery this, fiery that. But of course, God is the one that's resplendent and shining and stands Ata Norah Ata. It's you, right? You appreciate the text so much more with the way we're talking about it now. Do you understand? So much more appreciation. They do it. By the way, if you read this, the reason I'm taking the time to read all this is because if you read this without me giving it to you this way, you just read it. And the story will go by, and I'm telling you, 90% of this will just,
Yeah.
You read it, right? They do elav, and they go down to him. They Elisha el Adonai. Then they're coming from the call it a battalion. They're moving forward now, and Elisha prays to God. V'yomar, Hachna et hagoy hazeh b'sanverim. Smite them with sanverim.
Blinding light.
Yeah, you remember that, right? They get hit, they can't see clear, they get blinded, right? They can be sanverim, and they get hit with blinding what? Light. Light. Here we are again with the light. You've got to catch it.
I don't know.
Light, your norah, light, fiery chariots, light. The enemy gets hit, and what do you think of when you're seeing the enemy now? They're all like this, right?
Yeah.
They're blinded by the light, right? You're a song.
The song.
Yeah.
Bruce.
Whose song is it?
Bruce. That was a
Oh, Springsteen. Yeah,
That was a cover, I think.
that was. Oh, it was the name of the cover. Yeah.
That's his line in the song.
Vayakim Sanverim Kedvar Elisha, as per the words of Elisha. Vayomer Alehem Elisha, and Elisha tells them, Lo zehaderech v'lo zohair. Elisha walks up to the head of the battalion. They're killers. He walks right up to him, tells him, this is not the way. And this is not the city. Now, you remember Dotan? They're in Dotan. What did the guy tell Yosef? Did you know where my brothers are? They're over there.
Yeah.
And over here, of course you can't. Morris, you're laughing, right? It's exactly the Dotan, but he tells them, this is not the place, this is not the way, and this is not the city, right? Lichu aharai, follow me. Look at Elisha, please. Follow me.
I'll show you.
He has 400 Hamas guys following him, maniacs. No, these guys are better than Hamas. I'm going to show you one. V'olicha etchem el ha'ish asher tebekeshun, and I will lead you to the guy you're looking for. It's amazing. Dotan. It's amazing. The words. I'll take you to the guy. Vayolech Chotam Shomron. You know where he takes them to? Shomron. What is Shomron?
Capital North.
The capital of the north. I'll take you to, in today's times,
Yeah.
take you to the Jerusalem of the north, right? The main city. What's located in the capital city?
The king.
His army.
And the army. The core of the army is there. You're going. Where does he take them? Into the spot where the Israeli army is in their peak strength, right? Right? Vahikiboam Shomron. When they get to Shomron, Vayomer Elisha, Adonai Pikach et ene ele. Open their eyes. Look, listen to me. Everybody, look at me for 1 second.
A lot of eye opening
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
It's as if they were
Yes, I
sleeping.
want you to catch it. Open his eyes, the kid. God, blind them.
Same.
Hashem. Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Are you back to getting up in the morning?
Just saying,
I'm gonna hit you now. Now I'm gonna hit you.
if you're sleeping, you need to open your eyes.
Oh my God. So, so he says, open their eyes, right? Now open the kid's eyes. He saw. Open their eyes. Vayiru, and they'll see. That they've light in him. God opens their eyes. Vayiru, and they see. They find themselves in the middle of Shomron. Yeah, now they realize where they realize they're in the middle of the most dangerous place you could be. Vayomer Melech Elisha. Now, the king of Israel tells Elisha, Kir oto otam.
Want me to kill him?
Listen to the words. Ha'akeh abi.
So wipe him out?
What does he? No, what does he call him?
Father.
Avi.
Oh, we had that.
Avi.
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 Avi. That's what he calls it.
Avi. What does he say when he?
Elisha tells Eliam.
Look it up.
Pishanayim. He wants Avi. He told him.
What does he call him
Avi.
Yeah.
when he goes up?
Yeah.
Right.
Rechev Yisrael.
And what? What's he called?
Rechev Yisrael Ufarashav.
And now what do you have? He opens them. This is the Rechem and the Sus and the fiery ones and the fiery ones surrounding him. And now who tells him that? The no-name king says, Hakeh, Hakeh, should I kill them? The doubling of the verb Hakeh, Hakeh, they'll probably translate it good.
No, shall I attack?
Father, shall I strike them down?
Shall I
Right.
attack?
In other words, Hakeh, Hakeh. Abi, why is he calling him father now? Morris.
Only because like, look what he just accomplished.
Now he looks at him like my father. What is he now? The leader.
Right.
Who do you call Abi?
The king doesn't call him.
No, it's definitely a word of respect, right?
More than that, you're the leader. Abi, my father. When you call the guy father, you are my leader. You are the guy. What you say goes. So what is he? No, don't. Don't smite them. Is that what the word they use to
Do not attack.
Don't
No, do not. That's all they write.
Right. Ha'asher shabita b'harbicha ubekashtecha ata makeh. The guy that whoever took you captive with your sword and there's the sword
Question.
and the bow.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Okay, so
Right?
skip,
Because
skip,
ata makeh. Now I only wanted to show you that the concentration already tells you without all those proofs that I brought down with all those, you don't need it. When you understand, Lee, you just can read the story, and it, of course, these references. It's so clear that that's what the references are. So you can, Ronnie, you know what he's telling him? The guys you captured, you can do whatever you want with them, but they're my captives.
Yeah, you didn't, no, did you?
They belong
capture
to me. You didn't capture them,
Did you,
Did you?
did
right?
you capture those?
Right.
You just attacked them.
Shit.
With your own sword.
That's my kid.
Did you succeed
Right,
with your bow and sword?
right. You did.
No.
That's-
So
they're mine.
let me do
They're
it.
mine. Sim lehem or mine him.
Oh my God, give him
Put-
water.
They came to. Who did they come to kill?
Then,
Only their objective was to
Yeah.
just kill Elisha.
Yeah.
Right. The king gets mercenaries.
Yeah.
He sends them out to kill Elisha. Says, no, don't kill him. Put lechem in mine before them. Ve'echilu, ve'yishtu, ve'elchu il adonihim. And they ate and they drank and they went back to their yeah. Ve'echra lahim kira gedula.
big feast they made him.
Re-
You went
So
too fast.
prepared a lavish feast for them,
Mhm.
Ve'yochilu ve'yishtu.
and after they had eaten and drunk,
A lavish feast.
Yeah, not
He
just
makes
water.
He lays out a table,
You said bread and water, now he's doing.
puts out a full meal. Ve'shelahim,
and he lets them go.
ve'elchu el adonihim.
They returned to their master.
V'lo yasifu. Key now. Key statement to our story. V'lo yasifu od gedudei Aram labo be'eretz Yisrael.
And the Aramean bands stopped invading the land of Israel.
Never again, as long as Elisha is alive, which is a long time from the story, they never again attack. Why, Ronnie? Why wasn't the king able to get these guys to attack?
Because he was respect.
Yeah, they told him, we're not going to go after him. He saved our lives. What do you mean? The guy, he had us dead.
Yes.
And they,
Yeah, the king, they were surrounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. All they had to do was shoot and they would all be dead, all of them.
Yeah.
He saved us. What do you mean you want to go kill him? Are you crazy? This guy, not only that, he laid out a meal for us.
I just brought him water.
We're never going after him because he's a good guy.
But then maybe Sammy's right, because how would they not realize that they're going straight into it, like an ambush, into an army base?
Yeah.
Or something.
Glad he did that to get you. So of course, this story has, listen carefully now, because the hour's late, we're gonna have to stop in 5 minutes. So listen. We're in the middle. We're on page 525. This goes to page 569, right? It's the long commentary for this Ms. Moore. That said, and we have to go through that the next time we get together. That said, are they all together?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that said, let's just bring this up now, to put it on the table as follows. Does this story when you read it, I'm gonna ask it to Morris first to save time. Morris, is this story about miracles?
Not exactly, no.
No, I
Exactly.
don't know. No,
Is
blindness-
the blinding,
the
is the
blindness-
blindness mean that they couldn't see?
No.
Or is the fact that you're being taken to Dotan, right? And then the instructions are in the reverse. What did the story about Yosef say to you when the Dotan story comes up? He tells them they're in Dotan.
He's being pulled into an inch.
Hashem's
He's writing going on. Nobody's.
face in it.
God's hand is in it.
What? Yes,
Right.
yes, that's the word I want.
Walking into-
God's hand, Yosef, when you read that story, how's he gonna he gets them because God is involved. There's no miracle magic thing happening. God is involved in the movement over there. God is involved in the movement over here. But you know how it says God is involved in the movement over here? He struck them with blindness. But of course, it doesn't mean that there was poof, and all of a sudden that it happened. It means there's circumstances that moved the story along. Elisha has a lot of confidence. Elisha tells him, "We're going to survive this," right? The kid goes, "What do you mean we're going to survive?" He said, "We're going to work it." And of course, you see him using strategy. You see, at the same time that you could say, "Oh, it's all magic," but doesn't he use strategy? Doesn't he? He's follow me. I know where the guy you want is. He's the guy, right? So you have to be very courageous. They might slice you up in 1 second. And very courageous. Not only that, when you use a strategy to
Permanently disarm them.
yes.
Yeah.
He's all strategy. Everything he does is strategy. They couldn't stop the troops, the mercenaries from coming in to kill for the king. He did, single-handedly. Did he do it with magic? Not at all. Not one thing of magic he didn't do it. He did it with what?
Loyal.
That's right. That's right. With
Yosef-
sharp, intelligent, insightful, courageous, coming up with a plan. So therefore, when I read this, I realized this. The king doesn't know that there's an ambush waiting for his troops.
Does Yosef know that he's walking into an ambush with his brothers?
Oh, he knows
Can kill them.
exactly who he's going to,
No,
but he's scared out of his wits.
Walking in innocently. Go,
Yeah.
okay, go find him.
But
He's
he
walking in
knows it's
ambush and he
dangerous.
can get killed.
But he knows it's
Only
dangerous.
you, that saves him.
Right, but he knows it's dangerous. That's why he goes, Hineni.
Yeah, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, more to be said about it. That said, I want you to hear this. You go ahead, you could ask.
So why did he need to pray Hashem for the Na'ad to see his plan?
Because he's always praying. He's praying for the help the kid see, help him see,
To see then, what's the kid?
because he's scared out of his wits. Let him learn. Let him see.
He's hoping he sees a different reality.
Right, he wants him to see. He's praying to God because he's in shock, the kid, and he's training him. It's his assistant. He's training him. Help him. I'm going to do it. Of course, he's going to do his part to make him see. But he's praying. He's praying that he's going to succeed with the troops. He's praying that everything is going to work out. He's always praying because he has no idea if it's going to work. He's doing his best. So, how did the no-name king, when he tells him there's a troop and they're going to ambush you, how did he know? What, he's a magic man. He knows what goes on.
Yeah, the spy.
That's what they thought.
Yeah, the spy.
Well, answer the question.
Well, how come the king didn't have the same reconnaissance?
God opened.
Because the king is an incompetent, and it's clear that Elisha was involved in the political movements that were going on in the nation in a very important way, and that he had his own network of people that he referred to, and his network informed him that that's the case. Because remember, the king is incompetent. Should I kill them? He doesn't say moron. He says, they're not yours. They're mine. follow, but why does he call him Abi? Because
You realize.
he looks at him like he's the brilliant guy and he's the one who knows and he's incompetent. So clearly I realized that when you see Elisha making the move, he's making the move within the context of a person who's functioning on a bigger scale than that just what goes on, that you think he's some guy walking down the street with his seat hanging out. You understand? It was much more to him. He understood much more. He knew about the political rivalries thoroughly, and he knew that the right move was to send them back, but not only send them back, feed them, give them a great meal, turn it on its head, turn the whole situation on its head. Therefore, you're being told that. And when you see the idea of the Senderim, are you supposed to think that it was a miracle, or are you supposed to think that he was able to blind them to reality, that he manipulated the situation and God helped him manipulate the situation, and therefore God is Norah. All these things are about fiery chariots, fiery this, right? All resplendent. So he says, it's God who did it. It was God who was moving all the pieces behind the scenes. Yes, you don't see it. Well, that's how the Navi lives his life now. We're going to end on this note. I'm going to ask the question. I'll throw it to the table. I'll end it with Morris after I throw it to the table, and then we'll continue next week. But the question is the story written on two levels? And for the people who believe in miracles, like for the last 2,500 years, everybody says this story is about miracles. And was it purposely written like that? Was it not purposely written like that? Were there options not to put it that way? How do you view all of this? You heard my view of this one story. We're going to read a whole bunch of stories.
Yes.
There's more stories coming. I'm asking you about this particular narrative. How do you look at it? Anybody has anything to say?
Yeah, writing this at or before the Churban.
He's writing about it. We don't know if he wrote it right before or after.
But it's-
We know that
it's
the Melach,
it's later writing.
Melachim ends with the Churban.
Right.
So for sure, this is being that part is written after.
But some point in time, Yirmiyahu's writing this with an objective for teaching the people something when he's writing it in this manner, this way.
Yes, of course, of course,
I'm just,
of course.
yeah, I'm saying, I'm
Yes,
thinking out loud.
but the question is, why is it written
Right.
in this way? Could it have been written the way I just now said it?
No.
For the last few thousand years?
Yes, but it wouldn't have resonated with a lot of people.
That's why.
That's the right answer.
That's why he's saying.
You didn't have to say it. It wouldn't have resonated.
But I think only today we can
I
understand.
think there's more to say than that. I think
I said I'm gonna end with you.
Okay.
1 minute.
So it's not, it's also symbolic a lot, like, it
Yes,
wasn't fiery chariots, but if you, in symbolism, there's God's protection. It's not like they were really there, but
right.
symbolizing that God is there, protection.
Well,
So-
well, certainly, because if there were a lot of fiery chariots around them, they would have destroyed them and that would have been the end of the story, right? Those fiery chariots that's for sure over there symbolic, because it represented that we have more on our side than we got God on our side, right?
But now he's writing, giving the people hope at a time of despair. Back to the
That's all.
Yirmiyahu time. So he's writing this at a time to give the people at that time that there's a hope and this God is behind the scenes and is gonna see us through, even though we're going through a terrible time.
Well, that's for sure
Okay.
the case. But
no, I'm just gonna say that I think we have good reason to believe that a lot of these stories are the way the stories were understood by the people at that time. This is, in other words, it's grounding what the Navi, what he's doing. He's grounding it in the famous legends of the thing that happened. Oh, that famous story with Elisha when he brought the. No, maybe the original story is he brought the chariots of fire and an army of fire down and he beat the other guy. And that might be the whole story.
and he toasted them.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know exactly what the original version looked like, but he's gonna take that story and he's gonna use it as the foreground
Everything else.
for everything else that he's doing.
Everything.
Right.
Correct.
No,
Correct, and he's gonna,
So
and he's
he's
gonna-
not just creating some of these,
they existed
Yeah.
before him.
yeah,
All the legends existed.
As legends.
They're all legends.
It's not accepted, you know, he's writing some.
right. Oh, that's that famous story. You know,
That
everybody,
what?
everybody knows that. famous-
Yeah.
Everything.
But it's not accepted, you know, it has to be accepted over time.
That's right.
He's
If
working.
you can't write about the story and take the legend and say Superman can't fly, right? And it was all, it's not gonna work. The kids are gonna kill you.
This and a speeding bullet.
Right, he is faster, he was, and then,
he was.
and they won't accept, the kids will they'll lose their minds. Batman, you wanna tell me you didn't have a bat cave? No, it was a.
The point is to present Elisha and his approach in this story as a model of success, as a model to replicate, to say, this is the way you need to handle situations.
This is the man of God leading the nation. Say it that way.
As opposed to,
Let's just kill him.
Miracle.
Yosef's brothers wanted to kill him.
Exactly the point.
Here, he won't even kill the enemy.
Right.
No, let's kill him is the same as the
I'm
king.
saying
Yes,
you have a
let's
one
kill
king's
him.
brothers wanting to kill one of them,
Yeah.
and here you have
The guy who.
the Isha Elohim won't even kill his enemy. He
Right.
wanted to kill him. He says, not only am I not gonna kill them,
I'm gonna
I'm
turn it on
treat
its
them
head,
royally,
right?
and if you want a model of success, you're
Well,
gonna
that's
sit
what-
there trying to cut.
That's what's up to with his brothers. He treated them royally.
Good
And
imagine.
later on,
They got
he could
there.
have killed his brothers. and wiped them out.
And you know, it's the brothers.
Look what they did to me. This is the parallel.
He has very good imagination, doesn't
But
he?
the parallel is Yosef could have killed his brothers and could have just wiped them out.
Also,
They tried to
when
kill
they,
them.
when they showed
When
up,
they showed up, but he did not, and he fed them, and he.
and in the pit, there was no
Ate and drank. No, the
Yes,
brothers
oh,
ate and drank.
There
while-
was no-
excellent.
they fed them.
Puts
intertextual,
them at the table.
intertextual, no, when
You're
they're in the
rolling.
pit,
Yeah,
when he's in the pit,
Yes,
what does
they're
it say they
eating.
do?
they're eating.
They're eating and drinking.
while
Yeah.
he's screaming.
And then he feeds them. He gives them the feast, and
Yeah,
then he keeps them.
yeah.
If that's what we're trying to say, is
They
that
go home to their father.
he's doing it on a natural level. He's
So let's say like this, that this story, and that's when I realized that all the stories are meant to be understood. Oh, I can stop the recording. 1 second.
Anybody there?
Stop recording. Okay, yeah.
Dot, dot, dot.
Okay, good night, folks.
Now we got the